So you're going to start with 3 pieces of wood: light value, middle value, and dark value. What's important is that these pieces are all exactly the same width and thickness. The length at this point does not matter because we're going to cut really small blocks, which is our next step. All right, I'm going to use the bandsaw to cut these blocks of wood. I could easily use the table saw or the miter saw, but I feel the bandsaw is a safer way to do the cut, and it's also a lot easier to set up. We go ahead and start cutting pieces, and they're going to push themselves through. All right, now I'm going to glue my blocks together. First, I'm going to take paste wax and coat the sled so that they don't stick, and then I'm going to put these in alternating order using glue until I go the full length plus 1 block of the sled. That way I can put a pipe clamp on it and everything's nice and tight. So I just unclamped this piece. Now I'm going to run it over the joiner, getting this edge right here nice and schmoot and even. At this point, I've marked where I'm going to cut it. 1/2 inch rips down the bandsaw. You could certainly make them smaller. 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, either side. Now I have my cut pieces back in the sled, and as you can see, it broke in quite a few places. But not all is lost. As long as I still have them, they're all in the right order, everything's okay. What I'm gonna do next is stagger them. Something like this. And glue them back up. This last piece of wood that I'm putting on here is not going to get glued. It's simply to hold everything straight when I clamp it up. It's out of the sled, the glue's dry. And what I'm gonna do is make a skateboard out of this. I'm gonna make the Power and Peralta Old School. The blank size is 9 7/8 by 29 7/8. So what I'm gonna do with this inlay is I'm going to add a strip here and 2 strips here to make the width 5 inches, which is roughly half the distance of the board. So my next step is going to be gluing this together. The next step will be running the veneer block through the planer. A little bit on this side, a little bit on this side, just to even up the board. Smooth it up a little bit. My next step will be resawing this board, which means splitting it right down the middle. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and edge glue these two together in the form of a book match. Next step is sanding the veneer down to 1/8 of an inch using the thickness sander. So I planed my veneer to about an 1/8 inch, and I cut my 3 pieces of Baltic birch, 3 mil, to the dimensions of 9 7/8 by 29 7/8. And the next step is making sure that these fit in the mold. Now, ensuring that they fit, I'm going to go ahead and glue these up. Now it's into the Grizzly shop press, where I'm going to compress the board in its mold up to a pressure of 1,200 psi. Now I'm going to stop and let this sit for 24 hours. All right, let's release the pressure and pull this thing out of the mold. Now I'm at the sink and I'm going to scrub off the glue that didn't dry, the stuff on the edges. And remember, we're in a drought, so fill up a bucket, a few inches of water, and work with that. Once again, we're in a severe drought. Do not waste water. All right, so I got a new toy here. This is a Laguna IQ CNC machine, and I've got my Power Peralta blank in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut out this shape right here, and I've got some notes on here. Now for a little edge work on the belt sander. Now I'm going to finish the holes and countersink. I have sanded this thing to 320 grit. Top and bottom and edges, and now I'm going to take it into the finish room and apply tung oil to it. Now for a little clear coat and non-skid.